I was still under anesthesia when she left the hospital. Not officially discharged, not excused. She just left. My wife stood over my surgical bed, oxygen in my nose, IVs in both arms, and simply said, "He needs me right now more than you do." Half drugged and confused, I blinked, trying to process it. My ex, her former boyfriend, had a breakdown, and she was gone. She left me like that. I had just come out of surgery for a minor bowel obstruction. Nothing too serious. They said, just routine. But something ruptured, and I started bleeding internally. They had to wheel me back in. Cold blue. I flatlined for 34 seconds. I know, because the nurse told me afterward, whispering like it was some sacred secret. I remember cold hands pressing on my chest, her voice calling my name as though I were already gone. And her absence? It was louder than any alarm. 12 years we'd been married. 12 years. We met in college, built a life together from scratch. She was the one who used to sit beside me in hospital waiting rooms when my mother was dying of cancer. The one who swore, "I'd never leave you, not like your dad did." I believed her. I should have seen it sooner. Though, the late-night texts, the name Elias popping up again after years. She used to say, "He's just a friend, like a brother." But no one calls their brother at midnight, whispering behind a locked bathroom door. I let it slide. I had surgeries to prep, charts to review, patients to save. She said she was just helping him through a hard time, and I convinced myself that I could stomach her kindness. But I didn't realize kindness had a zip code and a mattress. That night, when I nearly died, she didn't even call. 3 days I was in and out of consciousness, and not once did I hear from her. Her phone went straight to voicemail, and the nurse, bless her, held my hand and told me, "She hasn't called once, not even to ask if you made it through." When I finally walked out of that hospital, I wasn't the same man. The shaking in my hands stopped after a week, but something deeper inside of me snapped into silence. I wasn't going to yell. I wasn't going to beg. I was going to end this the way I knew best, surgically clean and precise. The first thing I did was pull every call log from our joint phone account, numbers, timestamps, hours late, hours long. Then I hacked the car's GPS history. She told me she was going to yoga twice a week. Turns out she was doing something flexible, but it wasn't downward dog. Elias. He worked freelance in web design, lived in a studio downtown, the same place she visited the night. I nearly bled out on that operating table. I hired a private investigator to confirm it. Photos, videos, one of her leaning into him, smiling the way she used to smile at me. Got what I needed. Then came the setup. We own a house, 2 cars, 1 joint investment account. But here's what she didn't know. I was smart enough to keep my malpractice insurance, personal savings, and a good chunk of crypto earnings in a trust in my sister's name. Legal bulletproof. I also contacted a divorce attorney. Not just any lawyer, but the kind who eats prenups for breakfast and smiles through war. We filed quietly, but I didn't serve her yet. I waited. Instead, I invited her to dinner, lit candles, ordered from her favorite Thai place. She looked surprised, but smiled. "You're different lately. You okay?" I nodded. "I almost died. I just want us to be good again." She leaned in and kissed my cheek, said she was glad to have me back. She didn't notice my phone recording under the napkin. Over the next 2 weeks, I fed her false comfort. I told her I wanted to go on a trip, reconnect. She agreed, said she'd clear her calendar. I booked the hotel and called ahead to make sure they had security cameras in the hallway. I needed footage just in case. The night before our getaway, she went to his apartment again. I followed, not physically, but digitally. Her phone's location pinged every 10 minutes, like clockwork. That was all I needed. The next morning, before she woke up, I dropped the bomb. She came into the kitchen in her robe, humming. She saw the envelope on the table. "What's this?" she asked. I sipped my coffee, calm as could be, a farewell note. She opened it, and inside were divorce papers, a printed timeline of her visits to Elias, photos, screenshots, GPS logs, and a list of everything already removed from her access, bank accounts, insurance, car titles. I even changed the locks. You spied on me, she whispered, trembling. No, I said, my voice cold and steady. I survived you. There's a difference. Then I handed her a flash drive. That's your voice, I said, talking about Elias. How he still gets you in ways I never could. How you left me in surgery because he was hurting more. Her face went pale. You're bluffing, she said, her voice cracking. I turned on the TV and played the clip. He needs me more than my husband does right now. I'll be back by morning. It's just he's breaking. Silence. I muted it. Let the shame fill the room. She tried to scream, tried to cry, beg for forgiveness. Said it wasn't what it looked like. But I'm a surgeon. I know how to cut straight to the truth. I looked her dead in the eye and said, You left me to die on a table. Now, I'm leaving you to live with that. Court was swift. The judge didn't buy her version of emotional confusion. My lawyer smiled like a wolf. She walked away with barely a third of what she expected. No spousal support, just silence. Elias dumped her 2 months later. Turns out, he didn't want a full-time version of her, just a borrowed one. I heard she moved back in with her mother. I haven't spoken a word to her since. Sometimes, late at night, I still hear the flatline beep in my head. But louder than that is her voice. He needs me more than you do. She was wrong. I didn't need her. What I needed was this ending.